Good evening, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google+. This is Rich again, back for your third and final video blog of the night for Friday, September 9, 2016, around 8:36 in the evening, Berwick, Massachusetts. The sun's down, the sky is clear, the crickets are chirping, humid night tonight. Some news to report. Lisa Bell, anchor of News 6 in Orlando, Florida, gave birth to a healthy baby boy, her second child, by the name of Graham. So congratulations to her and her husband and baby Henry, who's 2.5 years old. And also NHL 17, the video game on PlayStation 4 and other video game consoles, did a simulation of the upcoming NHL season, and they are predicting that the Philadelphia Flyers are going to win the Stanley Cup. Wait and see about that. And sad news to report in the world of professional wrestling. Legendary midget wrestler Lord Littlebrook passed away at the age of 87. Lord Littlebrook, one of the famous midget wrestlers of all time, he held the NWA Midget Heavyweight Championships in the 1970s, and his famous match was WrestleMania 3 with him and Little Tokyo teaming up with King Kong Bundy, facing off against Little Beaver and the Haiti Kid and Hillbilly Jim. That was the infamous match where King Kong Bundy gave an elbow to Little Beaver. So prayers to Lord Littlebrook's family in this time of need. And that's about it on news. My third and final video blog subject of the night is my personality profile. Tonight's personality profile is one of the most famous professional wrestling managers in history and a WWE Hall of Famer, J.J. Dillon. J.J. Dillon was famous for managing the Four Horsemen in the NWA Mid-Atlantic Territory for 3 years. Also, he was known later on as the commissioner of WCW. J.J. Dillon was born in Trenton, New Jersey, under the name of James Morrison, and as a youngster he loved watching professional wrestling on television. He started out in the early 1960s as a referee for many territories in the Northeast. Then he got trained to become a professional wrestler by Eddie Graham, who owned Championship Wrestling from Florida. JJ made his debut in 1968 under the name of JJ Dillon. He wrestled in many regional territories as both a face and a heel. He wrestled in Florida, winning the Florida Championship many times, and also going to the Amarillo territory. He had feud with Terry Funk and Dory Funk. He also wrestled in Canada a couple of times, in the WWF and other places. Around the mid-1970s, JJ became a manager. He managed the Mongolian Stopper and Abdullah the Butcher in many regional territories and a few other wrestlers here and there. In around 1980, JJ went to Championship Wrestling from Florida. He managed the Spoiler and Angelo King Kong Mosca and Bruiser Brody and Big John Studd and Outlaw and Cowboy Ron Bass, among others. And he was like a hated heel. Those wrestler feuded with the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. And also backstage, JJ was the assistant booker to Dusty Rhodes in Championship Wrestling from Florida. When Dusty Rhodes went to Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling, Jim Crockett Promotions, the leading NWA territory of the 1980s and the summer of 1984, he took JJ with him to book and manage. Before JJ did that, he wrestled briefly in the Canadian Maritimes, winning the International Championship, and he wrestled in Madison Square Garden in April of 1984 against Tito Santana for the Intercontinental Championship. Tito beat JJ easily, and he was the last non-WWF wrestler to appear at Madison Square Garden, because for years, sometimes non-WWF wrestlers appeared at Madison Square Garden. And JJ, when he got to Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling, managed the Long Riders, who were Black Bart and Cowboy Ron Bass, to a few Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Championships. He also managed Buddy Landell, the Nature Boy, to a couple of national tag team national titles. And he also managed Tully Blanchard to the TV title and U.S. title. Around 1986, Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson, Ole Anderson, and Ric Flair were running short on television interview time, so they got all four of them together to do interviews about their opponents. And Arn Anderson says, this is the four horsemen of apocalypse. And Tony Schiavone says, you might be onto something. He was right. The four horsemen was formed, and J.J. Dillon was the manager. He managed Ole, Arn, Tully, and Ric Flair for the next 3 years. JJ was the mastermind of the Four Horsemen, which eventually included Lex Luger and Barry Windham, and also JJ was assisting booking with Dusty Rhodes, the Mid-Atlantic Territory, and Jim Crockett Promotions. JJ even bought into Championship Wrestling from Florida in 1987. He bought maybe 5% of the territory, but the territory was eventually folded into Jim Crockett Promotions. And JJ won Manager of the Year for the Pro Wrestling Illustrated 3 times. When Jim Crockett Promotions got sold to Ted Turner, and which involved into WCW, JJ was looking for other opportunities in the world of wrestling. His name was brought up to the WWF because Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard went there, and there was rumors they recommended him to be like a writer for the television shows and the booker, because Vince McMahon and Pat Patterson were booking the WWE at that time, and he needed help. And JJ accepted the deal. In 1989, he moved to Stamford, Connecticut, and for the next 7 years, he was a writer, producer, talent coordinator. He eventually became vice president of talent relations for the WWF for a few years. He was like a very hard worker. He got a lot of good ideas over. Once in a while, JJ would be shown on television breaking up fights between wrestlers. There were rumors going around that JJ was actually going to become a manager in the WWE, but that never came to be. By 1996, JJ got burned out from the WWE because of taking a pay cut. He had differences with Vince McMahon. He resigned on September 13th, 1996 from the WWE. He took his name, his badge. He walked out to the door. Vince McMahon was trying to stop him because he wanted to just talk it over, try to work it out, but JJ said he had it. He went through a divorce. He had to file for bankruptcy during this time, which wasn't good, and he swore he would never work for Vince McMahon again. And then JJ went back to WCW as the on-air commissioner for about 3 years. It was just a figurehead role, just to get his name out. He was also backstage being like a advisor for WCW, helping out with the matchmaking and stuff, the booking, but he wasn't on the booking committee. He was just, advising the booking committee on ideas. He was actually called JoJo by Chris Jericho a couple of times. And when WCW went out of business in 2001, JJ basically left the business. He tried his hand in real estate for a while, but that didn't work out for him. He made one appearance for TNA in 2003. Eventually, JJ became a correctionals officer for the state of Delaware. He still has that job as of today. He wrote a book in 2005 called Wrestling Are Like Seagulls from McMahon to McMahon, and that was one of the best things in the book. One of the best wrestling books I've ever read. And he said at the end of it that he would rather work flipping hamburgers at McDonald's than working for the WWE again in any capacity. JJ actually appeared at many wrestling conventions, and he appeared on a few WWE DVDs. He actually appeared in 2008 when Ric Flair was retiring. He buried a hatchet with Vince McMahon, and that paved the way in 2012 for JJ to get inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, which was an honor well-deserved, with him on Anderson, Tully Blanchard, Ric Flair, and Barry Windham. Those were the members of the Four Horsemen who went in. Ole and Anderson were never accepted, and thank God the WWE didn't induct Lex Luger or Sid Vicious or Paul Roma or Brian Pillman or Dean Malenko or Steve Mongo McMichaels or Chris Benoit as part of Four Horsemen. But WWE's with Chris Benoit, they say he never existed, and JJ was probably one of the best 10 best managers in pro wrestling history, and he still goes to conventions today. And that's about it on JJ Dillon. That's about it on these video blogs for Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google+. Tomorrow, 3 more video blogs coming for you. First video blog will be about my review of Rocky III, which came out in 1982. Second video blog of the day will be about the local news magazine in WCVV Channel 5 Chronicle. And the third and final video blog of the night, my personality profile. Tomorrow's personality profile is about Hall of Fame quarterback and the lead analyst for Fox NFL games, Troy Aikman. Keep calm, everybody. I'm a Julie Running Guy. Molly Roseblood of WCCO Oxen has nice legs. Elizabeth Hart, so stunning. She's the best. Amy Squeezy's awesome. Awesome Amy. Linda Church of WPIX Channel 11 is such a cougar. She has nice legs, the best in New York City. Barbara Gibbs of BBC 11 has a sweet Southern accent, and she says has the best legs in Raleigh, North Carolina. And in the words of former WCW and WWE champion Psycho Sid Vicious, I am the man, I am the master, and I'm the ruler of the world. Good night, everybody. See you tomorrow.